Hey y'all, welcome to COS Now. This is the first episode of 2026. My name is Andrew Lusch. I'm going to be your host. I am also Regional Director for Convention of States Action, and you might recognize me from COS Live, where I cover legislative hearings with my co-host, Rita Peters. Well, 2026 is here, and I'm going to bring you all of the action that is happening across the country related to Convention of States Action, and I'm going to give it to you in 5 minutes or less. So let's get right into it. All right, to start things off, a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of going to TPUSA's America Fest. I was there with hundreds of young professionals and college students who came to our booth and talked about Convention of States, and their faces lit up. They couldn't believe that the solution was right there in Article 5 of the Constitution. Check out a few clips that I was able to gather while I was there at America Fest.
Why is this important for the average American?
Because I think if you ask the question, do you think the federal government is doing a good job, irrespective of your disposition politically, the answer is going to be 78% that no, they're not.
So it's about, term limits, man. That's probably the only way it's going to get through, right? Because they're never going to vote on it.
It's a new year, and that means state legislatures all across the Frosty Plains are starting up, and they're going to be considering our Article 5 application and other legislation that Convention of States Action supports. On January 15th, citizens in Idaho can join constitutional attorney Michael Ferris and Rita Peters at the Idaho Capitol in Boise to make their voices heard with state lawmakers. The event will start at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Learn more at conventionofstates.com/ID Capitol. 18 states have already opened up their Capitol doors, and by next week, several more states will open up their legislatures as well. In case you haven't watched Schoolhouse Rock lately, first, a legislator will sponsor and file our legislation to officially introduce it in the legislature. Next, the bill or resolution gets assigned to a committee where a public hearing is scheduled. This is your chance to make your voice heard. Next, the committee will vote on whether to send it to the full chamber for debate and vote. If the resolution is approved by the full body, it must then repeat the process on the other side. Whenever our Article 5 resolution is being heard in committee or debated on the floor of a chamber, yours truly and your legislative director, Rita Peters, will bring you that coverage with COS Live. This is history in the making, so join us on our journey to call the first ever Article 5 convention for proposing constitutional amendments. The official open letter to Trump offered by Convention of States has officially crossed 110,000 signers. The letter encourages the president to announce support for an Article 5 convention that will propose fiscal restraints on Congress, as well as constraints on the size of the federal government and term limits on members of Congress and other federal officials. You can join the other 110,000 people who've already signed the letter by going to conventionofstates.com/Trump. On Wednesday of last week, Jonathan Viad welcomed Heidi St. John to COS at Home. Here's what our newest endorser had to say.
Really excited to kind of put the weight of my platform behind COS and believe that the Founding Fathers understood a truth that history repeatedly confirms, and that's this: when power is left unchecked, it's always going to expand. In their wisdom, the Founding Fathers did not entrust the preservation of liberty to good intentions, and instead they built safeguards directly into the Constitution. I first heard about it from Mike Ferris when he started explaining Article 5 to me. I actually had him come on my podcast and talk about it. This idea of a Convention of States was basically just one of those safeguards that is going to allow us to act when the federal government exceeds its bounds. And so I'm a super fan of COS and can't wait to see what God's going to do through this movement in 2026.
Over the Christmas season, Convention of States grabbed headlines in Montana and Georgia. Before I let you go, I just want to let you know how pumped I get seeing citizens across the nation work to take their country back. Check out some of these photos that were sent in, including from Texas, Maryland, Oklahoma, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. This is exactly what the Founding Fathers envisioned in a self-governing nation. That's what we're seeking to restore and awaken in these United States. Well, what do you want to see for Convention of States in 2026? Personally, I think we're going to see some pretty incredible things, but I really want to hear from you. So comment below, let me know what you think you're going to see, and join me next week for another edition of COS Now.